Kenny's caliber, such a well-traveled coach. So it's great to have you. So let's just get into it then. Coach Kenny, shall we begin?
Yeah.
Great. So
Yes.
you're quite a well-traveled coach, and you have been traveling since the early age of 17 when you moved to Brazil to make a playing career. So can you tell me how that happened and what your experience was like in Brazil?
In 1986 is when I went to Brazil. At that time, there was no professional league in Japan. So I had opportunity to go to Brazil, and it was possible because of the current exchanging rate was so strong for Japanese yen. It was inexpensive to live in Brazil. I stayed there for 2 years and a half and played for under 18 and under 20 academy teams. Before I played one season with the first team on the amateur contract, but I couldn't sign the professional contract. So at the age of 20, I gave up playing and I decided to move to somewhere else at that time.
That's quite a journey and quite a risk you have taken to move across an entire across so many continents to make that move. And according to the internet, your coaching career was had begun in 1998 at the age of 28 with youth teams in the US. So you may want to correct that fact if it's wrong. But what made you step into coaching? And secondly, what made you head to the US in particular?
Well, when I gave up playing to pursue a professional career in Brazil, I wanted to go back to school, and I was into art, drawing, painting, photography, and so on. So I decided to go to New York City to go to school. Then I studied in university. I started coaching, I think it was 92. I think I was age of 21 or 22. Um, I was coaching young children such as 8 and 9 years old, but it quickly became my full-time job within 2 or 3 years.
Great. I mean, you've made that step, and that's, I think, now you have 25 plus years of experience. And now, what makes it even more special is that you have coached in the US, Qatar, Ghana, Nigeria, Cambodia, India, Sri Lanka, and Thailand. That's quite a variety. So, how have human and footballing cultures differed in each of these countries? And as a coach, what do you do to adapt to these cultures?
Well, I think each country is very unique and it has own culture, own history, and own way of how the society works or it doesn't. I have to quickly find out what works in that country, what works in that culture. But on the football pitch, it's always the same. You have to work hard, you have to be organized, and you have to be flexible, and you have to analyze each day what we are doing, what our opponents are doing, and try to improve through the hard work. There's no shortcut. So on a football pitch, it's quite simple. Off the pitch, we really have to find out how the society and how the club itself is organized and it went day to day. Some country is very strong hierarchy. Some countries are more flat in the relationship within the working environment. Some countries very straightforward, and some country are very indirect. So I think within 1 week or 2 weeks, I have to figure out how to work off the pitch.
And has language ever been a barrier? Has it been a challenge for you working at different countries? And if so, how do you manage to get your points across to those players?
Well, I think the two country or three countries that they don't speak English that I worked in is Kyrgyzstan, Thailand, currently I'm working here, and Mongolia, which I worked just before I came to Thailand. In Kyrgyzstan, they speak Russian as the official language, but their native language is Kyrgyz. So by nature, they're already bilingual. And I worked with under 16 players. They are very young. So after I started working with them, about 1 month. They are talking to me in Russian. We had an interpreter, of course, but without interpreter, I understood they are Russian, and I responded in English, and they understood my English. Even though I couldn't speak Russian, I understood, and they couldn't speak English, but they understood. Also on the pitch, I use a lot of body languages, and also I detect their what's called the not body language, but non-verbal cues, non-verbal communication. I think that is more important than the verbal communication.
This is some great learning for all the coaches who are watching, in terms of how to make a success in a unfamiliar environment. Now, talking about success, as head coach of Hearts of Oak in Ghana, you have achieved tremendous success by maintaining first or second place on the table throughout the first round of the Ghana Premier League season. So, what, in your view, were the factors that contributed to this success?
There are several factors. The first of all, I think the quality of the players we had was outstanding, and what our opponents were not good at, we were very good at, meaning that we have trained those areas, and we stood out in these areas. Also, we were lucky. We had a luck on our side, and most of all, the club was struggling, was in danger of relegation a season before I arrived. And it's a big club. They were 2000 CAF Champions League winner with 100 years of history, but they were in danger of relegation. They haven't been successful for several years before I came. And we started winning as soon as the league started, and fans came back. Our home stadium was 4,000 capacity stadium, and almost all the home matches were near to the sold out. All the away matches, even away matches, are sold out. There's no available seats on away matches. So I think not only the club but the league was revived. So these like coincidentally happened as a part of luck.
Well, humble of you to explain it that way. And now we are going to talk about your stint in Nigeria, which is going to be very interesting for a lot of viewers. You coached a club called, if my pronunciation is correct, Ifeanyi in Nigeria. You coached for 5 weeks and managed their preseason. And then you decided to step away to get away from the place for the safety of your life. So what were the dangers that prompted you to take such a step?
As far as Ifeanyi are concerned, I can't comment on it. I prefer not to.
Okay, no worries, no worries. Fair enough. Now for the main question, for the Indian football audience, you were the head coach of Lone Star Kashmir FC in the I-League second division from 2019 to 2020. So can you please share your entire experience as a foreign coach of working in Indian football with Indian players in the Indian culture and your entire journey with Lone Star in detail?
Before I talk about my experience, I think there are two pretext to it. The first of all, Long Kashmir is in I-League 2, which is a third tier in India. India Super League considered as a first tier, and I-League 1, I-League 2. So each time that the tier goes up or goes down, there are difference of the standards. So that's the first factor. And the second factor is that, yes, it is in India, but it is in Kashmir. And it's not really India. I mean, India is a big country, huge in geography. But Kashmir itself is a very remote place. And we were in a very unique situation where we are isolated, no internet, no communication whatsoever from outside the world. And it was in war zone at that time. I don't know how it is now. The third factor is that Long Kashmir doesn't exist right now. They disbanded. That tells a lot about how lack of organization they had. I only coached one match, by the way, and there are only 3 training sessions before the first match. I think it was two. Yeah, 2 foreigners arrived 2 nights before the first league match, and I was asked to start those 2 foreign players. They are from Cameroon, and I refused it because of the safety of the players, and as well as they won't perform well, so they're not going to contribute to win the match. But that caused a lot of conflicts, and I was there for only one match.
Right,
But I know a little bit more about the football in India. At the first year, and also top clubs in I League One, it's a lot more well organized, and there are big opportunity for football in India to develop. But I think it starts from the grassroots and has to focus on the youth development, connecting to a professional level. That's my honest opinion.
yeah, this is some good inputs, and it's clear that your success in so many countries is also to do with how you have understood the culture of where Kashmir is in terms of the political situation. So it's really good to see. Now talking about talking about a belief that many people have, many armchair people have, which is that when we think about foreign coaches, we are thinking European coaches, South American coaches. So has you being an Asian coach ever made it difficult for you to be considered for jobs or to, gain the respect and recognition that a European or South American coach would get?
Yes, definitely. I have the challenges. My first professional club was a hard work, and the reason why I was given the job was a lot of coincidence happened simultaneously at the last minute. They had this European coach that they wanted to hire, and he declined at the last minute. So I was only candidate left at that point, and they gave it to me because we have to start the training camp, and they weren't thinking about I will be successful, but I became successful, so I stayed for half season. Definitely in many countries in Africa and in Asia, they prefer European or South American coaches because that traditionally way of football is more success, and it is still successful at higher standard in Europe, especially, and South America. But there are also individual differences of ability to coach. Just because somebody is from Spain, it doesn't necessarily mean that he is a good coach. Yes, there are many good Spanish coaches, coaches from Spain that higher standard, but there are also a few coaches from Spain that I've met personally that are, I think have a higher standard. It doesn't matter really. It's a matter of what you can or cannot do. But before many Asian coaches are given a chance, I think they look at the names, which country they are from. Oh, he's from Germany, he's from Brazil. Okay, so they must be good. They must be better than the Asian coaches. So that's the challenges we have as Asian coach.
So Japan is still, one of the best, if not the best, Asian country for football. Now, if this is the case, what future do Indian coaches have then of ever going abroad and coaching?
India has many challenges. One of the biggest challenges is that it's huge in terms of geography, culture, and it is a country, but how diverse the country is, it is very, very challenging to organize streamlined or unified approach. So I think the organization of the football itself, in fact, I don't know how it is now, but ISL and I League are not really, one entity, is what I'm understood. Is it already united or still separate?
It's separate.
Yeah, so that has to be fixed, and there are many local leagues that does not take any part of the football umbrella. They are very independent. It's very chaotic as far as where players go and where the teams or clubs start and move up to. It's not one step after next. There are just many independent leagues and matches and games organized or not well sorted out. So that's first thing that they have to fix. And if they are able to organize better, I think it is easier to develop players, develop teams, clubs. Coaches needs to step up. They can go 1 or 2 years in South America or Europe, or let's say some of the more advanced Asian countries such as Japan and Qatar and South Korea and Australia, and trying to have experience and come back with that knowledge and coach more modern way. I think that's the what we have to do. I think the national team has done well, but national team is just a representation of what's happening domestically. So for domestic clubs to be better, the youth system has to be better. So it all comes down to grassroots, youth coaches, youth football, league organization, and so on.
So what is your advice then for coaches that wish to follow a similar path as you by, coaching in so many different countries and continents and being successful?
I didn't plan this way. It happened. It happened really. But I think there are several things I can advise to any coaches. First of all, you gotta like what you're doing. You have to be like you are coaching. You have to feel you belong on the pitch and working with the players. That's the first thing you have to do, and constantly trying to improve yourself. Football advances every day, every year. So what I did when I was in India was not same as what I did in Sri Lanka, and what I did in Sri Lanka is not same as what I did in Mongolia, or what I did to Mongolia is not the same what I'm doing now. Each year, each day, I try to learn something and try to do something new. And not too afraid of making mistakes. Just like a players and coaches has to make a mistake to do something new, and learn from the mistakes and try to improve it. And I think you just have to do your best all the time. It means that you have to prepare yourself. You have to prepare yourself mentally and physically to be the best you can be every time you are on the pitch, whether it's a training session or the match. Players feel the energy from the coach, and if the coach does not have the best energy, either physically or mentally, on the pitch that day, they will feel it and they won't give you the best. So I think it's all about reflection of yourself, how to prepare and be on the pitch. Players will feel it and they will give you the best or less than best. It's all up to the coaches, I think.
Some golden words there, some real top suggestions.